Hey guys, it's Mondays with Michael, and my next guest is
Blake Whitaker.
All right. Hey Blake, thanks for taking your time. Good to see you, bro. It's been a while.
Yeah.
We did this mural gallery down here in the Arts District about 9 years ago?
2017.
Jesus,
it was
time flies, man.
Yeah, that was the first mural I've ever done.
Yeah. So we're literally down here. Yeah,
mural.
we're down here at Earth Cafe in the Arts District. Literally, we'll do a field trip to go see your
Ascending Cow 3.
Ascending Cow 3.
Yeah, it's
where are you at now on this Ascending Cow concept? Which number are you on?
I think it's getting close to 70. So I've done 70 paintings in this series, and
nice.
I haven't. That number is maybe I will say around 70 because I don't have the exact number. But yeah, that was number 3. Number 2 was and 1 was done in 2014. So it's been a 12, 13 year journey with a lot of time off.
Yeah.
I didn't consistently do the series, but yeah.
So why we're here is we're talking about the one and only Blake Whitaker, and I want to know the journey.
Sure.
From the 206 to the the 310 now.
310.
206 to the 310.
Yeah. So So Seattle. I think we could just skip right to college, where I went to University of Washington. I got an interdisciplinary visual arts degree. Graduated in 2006, and I didn't really do anything professional after that. So, I lived and worked. Doing odd jobs.
Yep.
Professional art didn't come for a while, and I moved to LA in 2011.
2011.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I got the studio. I don't know if you ever came down to the studio. I had a studio down in Little Tokyo. That was. It's burnt to the ground now. You can't go check it out.
I didn't
caught on fire.
I didn't make it, but I met some of the artists who were in that space.
They came down to. I think a few came down to the party.
Yes.
And so I was at that space for about 4 years before it. Yeah, before it burnt down. I left literally 6 months before it burnt to the ground.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would have lost a lot. Everything. Yeah. All my art was at the studio.
Holy shit.
To have a studio burned down is probably maybe an artist's worst nightmare.
I think so.
And I feel bad for all the artists that did have their works. I knew a lot of them, and it's as bad as you think it could be.
Yeah, I can't imagine. No.
But anyways, I was fortunate not to. I was lucky not to. Just to get through the education thing, I came down here in 2011, got the studio. That was when I started kind of making art a little bit more. But it was just I wasn't getting paid or anything selling paintings. And then I went to Cal Arts, started in 2014, and graduated in 2017 with my experimental animation degree.
Oh.
So I graduated Cal Arts in 2017 with my MFA in experimental animation. And then I answered your ad off Craigslist.
Yes. When Craigslist was.
Do you still use Craigslist? I still do. I mean, kinda.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah.
And then we did the mural project over here, which is what we're talking about, Ascending Cow 3. And it was during that
project. To interject and explain what that is.
Yeah.
So
talk about the project.
Yeah. So we did a call to action on Craigslist. We were curating this first of its kind mural gallery down here at this location off of Hewitt in a gym where I got about 14 artists, curated everything, and then we started painting in the summer of 2017, and it was great vibes, man. We had flow. I think you were out there almost every day, just grinding with your dramatic kind of landscape, kind of fantasy, which I love because we literally I made sure every artist we had a vast plethora of different styles, and I think that really reflects kind of the success of that collection. So super happy, yeah. And then I also have a piece called El Leon, which is the lion with, it's kind of like, it looks like a lithograph piece, but very long. It's lined black and white, white and red. So yeah, that was a good kind of opportunity to have a piece of artwork that lives in the art district. You know, I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right. I mean, that's
Well, yeah, it was. I think everyone was there for the love of painting and the love of just making art. It wasn't really a commercial thing, but it led to a bunch of commercial art for me.
Yeah. See, that's so. I mean, that's like the when you do something like that, you use it for portfolio building and building your own work and where you're at, like location. I think it resonates, and then people see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Every day.
absolutely.
So
yeah, I have because I put my Instagram handle. I do have people that tag me on it.
Yeah.
To this day, I mean, like because it's on private property, I can see why there's not like a ton of public because cars can park in front of it. So,
yeah.
But yeah, no, it was exactly the experience and resume piece I needed to jump into painting.
Yeah. Well, no,
professional.
For sure. Yeah. No. Love it. And good vibes. We were just. I think it was a collective. We were all painting and listening to music and just hanging out. And I think one day, the photo club just stormed us. Right.
Oh,
you remember that?
I remember those guys coming down
there.
There
was like 100 photographers, and they were like, "Can we
yeah,
come
it
in?"
was a photo meetup. They did.
Yeah,
I don't know where they arranged it, but that was I was kind of.
So cool.
And they just, yeah.
And then remember and then we had an Indian wedding. Remember, they came down, they danced down the street.
I don't remember that.
And it was that bar event space across the street.
Oh yeah, I remember that bar. Is that still open?
I think so.
Yeah,
So,
cool.
I want to know where MC Bleezy came from. I also want to know what inspired you when you were a younger kid to become an artist, and then kind of talk about that birth of why you chose the creative path, why you chose to go to college and get education, what your high school looked like, and who were your mentors on this journey. That's what
I mean, I've been drawing since I was a kid.
There you go. How old were you? When did it start?
6 years old. I mean, I was like whenever we were scribbling and then drawing, and then when I was in middle school, I had like basically several friends that also like to draw. So we would get together and kind of like work out worlds. We'd kind of do world building, and that was interesting because really I think we think of like art as an individual practice, but at that time, as a kid, when you're just experimenting, you could really sort of get into an imaginary world. So that was sort of the beginning. I did some like world building with my friends. We drew a bunch of pictures. We made our own like action figure cards and
cool, man.
Yeah, and we built all this stuff. And then in high school, I definitely admired some graffiti art. It was obviously the culture of hip hop and all that stuff was really popular in the 90s.
Yeah.
And not like there was a heavy scene in Seattle, but it was definitely there. It was everywhere in America. I mean, anywhere you lived, there's going to be hip hop, and then graffiti, and that definitely inspired me. But I didn't, I wasn't really involved with going out and doing graffiti.
Gotcha.
I maybe like borrowed some of the styles in my own personal art.
Yeah.
But in high school, I mean, the thing is, with any high school or any school, the arts is always like it's second to even, I don't know, band or sports.
Right.
Like it's the visual arts is like the lowest in the totem pole of any sort of, like you have to pursue that on your own. Like there's no classes. And so like as far as mentors and stuff, no, there was no one. Like I didn't have anyone even acknowledge my talent until I was probably like 24. And it was when I got to the UW and I was taking like a serious academic drawing class. Someone's like, you got skill. And I was like, I've never heard that in my life.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, just in middle school, it was almost seen as deviant. Like if you were drawing, you weren't paying attention, And like, and in high school, it was kind of the same way. It was like, you should be reading and writing and arithmetic, and like the art class was seen as, like I said, it was like the lowest in the totem pole of electives. At least that's how I felt in the public school system. I never felt any support whatsoever for any of that talent.
I got you. Yeah. So, well, I mean,
bitter.
Well, for me, it was I was a kid doodling in class, and then the teacher was always like, "Pay attention." I said, "I'm listening. I'm doing both." That's kind of where I was, maybe on the spectrum a little bit, but I was always drawing throughout high school, just doodling. While listening to the instruction.
And there's really no reward for it. I mean, you have to really just do it because you want to do it. Yeah. There's no teachers, there's no credits. I mean, Yeah, that up until college.
Till 24.
So I was 24.
Yeah.
I had finished my associates, and so I did the junior transfer where you transfer your 90 credits, and basically you can sort of get into any school in Washington with that transfer credit. So it's like really an automatic. And so right then I got entering as a junior. You pick your major.
Yep.
And I was kind of confused on what I wanted to do because I never thought that anyone took art seriously. I just didn't think it was just something. I mean, it's no fault of anyone around me because I just don't think anyone around knew any professional artists.
Yeah.
Like a professional artist was this really abstract idea that was maybe more so in a big city like LA, but in Seattle it was like, oh, you want to draw and paint? Like, I don't know why it literally felt like a joke.
Yeah.
And so, but when I got to the UW, there was a sort of classical, interdisciplinary visual arts is kind of an interesting major because it's a major that basically you could take any kind of art class.
Who was the teacher that when you were 24 that told you you had skill? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was funny. So she was teaching. She was a grad student teaching drawing 101.
Okay.
And at the end, she pulled me aside and accused me of cheating.
Oh.
And I was like, cheating?
How do you cheat?
I don't know how you cheat. I guess you get another student to draw your drawings for you. Because she was, I guess it was a really sort of really rough compliment to my last piece I turned in as sort of like the final project. And I just went back and forth with her. I was like, no, that's something I created. It was like, thank you. I mean, your instruction was pretty decent. And I think it was an underlying talent that I was just getting. Sometimes you just really need one or two building blocks to get to the next step of your art career.
Yeah.
Like you do need like a mentor or a professor or an institution to be like, hey, let me fill in the blanks.
Right.
And then your talent can be recognized. Yeah, and then another teacher, when I was taking printmaking, said the same thing about my drawing. And so I was like, okay, maybe this is something that I do have a talent beyond, or a foundational talent. I don't know.
I think it's a gift. Really.
Yeah, a gift.
Yeah. You just pick it up and you go,
I feel like there's a lot of, overlapping themes like with music and visual arts. And I think people normally say, oh, no, there's not. But yeah, like the talent of, it's not just about singing. It's not just about getting all the notes right. There is a real emotion and soul to it. And there is, I would say, in visual arts as well, there's a soul. And so some people are able to get that out of them a lot easier than others. And you maybe call that a gift, I don't know.
Yeah.
But so that was my experience in college. It was like the first time of someone, I don't know.
Really seeing you.
Yeah, seeing you. Or just like being enthusiastic, like this was something that wasn't a secondary, this wasn't something that was distracting me from what was really important.
Yes.
Like, oh, this is the main theme.
Right.
But when I graduated UW, it was just sort of, it was like crickets. Like I couldn't get any work. I tried to apply to be like an illustrator at a few places. I was like, shit, maybe that was a waste of time. And then you kind of reinforce those ideas.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's tough because I think for me, the opportunities are slim for artists getting out of college with working for like design firms or agencies. I mean, you really got to know people in your network, right?
Well, 2006, the internet it's definitely around.
Yeah.
Social media didn't exist.
No.
So I remember I sent a portfolio to, I forget, it was like an art and design magazine that also used illustration. How like New Yorker has these cartoons?
Yep.
I had a style that was kind of similar to that I was doing a lot of. Mm-hmm. And a friend of mine's like, oh, I know an editor. And so that's just what I was saying. Like, it was like, oh, I finally have someone to send it to. But my portfolio was too immature. Yeah. It wasn't enough to actually, but it was enough. I mean, I think it gave like a courtesy, like email or something, to being like, hey, you got talent, you just need to keep working on your portfolio type thing.
Yeah, gotcha. Let's continue that journey from you trying to find a job, and then you were in Seattle, and then to LA.
So Seattle is sort of like, once I graduated with the bachelor's, I actually tried to get some video work. I did some animation during my senior year, or whatever the senior year would be, and I had a video camera, and I shot this thing for a contest for MTV, and I was one of the finalists.
Yeah.
And I was representing Seattle hip hop, and basically it's a very small community, so I got a lot of like, you know, everyone kind of recognized that piece that I did because it aired on MTV. It aired for a whole day, which was pretty wild. It's called My Block.
My Block?
And yeah, it aired in 2006 or 2007.
What was that about?
So it was about like local filmmakers representing their area. So I was representing the Northwest, but specifically Seattle.
Oh.
And then I think the other areas was like Staten Island, which I think won. I think a little bit more rich history hip hop than Seattle. I don't even know how it really worked out. I knew a bunch of musicians, and I grew up in Seattle. It's a very small city, so I was able to talk with a bunch of people, and it was cool. Like I went around doing a lot of interviews, just like we're doing now, just with musicians.
Cool.
And then editing sort of like a 2-minute sizzle.
Yep.
And so then I was like, okay, and I got like 2 paid gigs after that, and I was like, maybe there's money here. And then I realized, no, there's not. You have to move to somewhere like LA.
Yeah, okay.
Like you gotta leave Seattle.
So that was a catapult right there.
Yeah, it was like I had done what I felt was like exhausted enough of Seattle's like art professional resources that I was like, maybe I need to move to a bigger city. And I think my family was supportive of it. They're like, let's see what you can do.
Okay.
You know, I got down to LA, and LA is like crazy, man.
Crazy.
I don't even.
Frenetic, dog. It's like
there's like 100,000 people a year that come in here with the same exact idea.
Yes, and most of them go home.
Yeah, they go. I was told that too before I got here.
They do, and
yeah.
and one of them is because the expensiveness of the city. It just keeps going up and up.
It's almost unaffordable. I mean,
remember it used to be you could get a square footage for about $1.50. Now you're at like $4 for studio space.
I mean, if you're willing to, I mean, I've seen some of the most ridiculous housing schemes that I can possibly think of that go to like almost like army barracks.
I think you
like,
lived in one.
I did.
Yes,
I did. Well, mine was more like a frat house.
Yeah, you said
but
the bathroom was in the.
Well, the bathroom was, yeah, they basically took what would I think would have been like a normal 4-bedroom house and turned it into like 15 bedrooms.
With bunk beds? Like a hostel?
Yeah, like it was like a hostel. I had an individual room that was the size of like a twin bed. Like this is like, it was the size of a walk-in closet.
Yeah.
And I was subleasing it from some guy.
Okay.
And this is right when I left Cal Arts. I had no money.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I was saying, that's when I was working on this mural. I had the studio down here. But even then, that one like closet size apartment was like $640 a month, which is out of control.
Yeah.
But yeah, before that, I lived in Silver Lake with like 2 roommates.
Yep.
And you know, if you aren't willing to have roommates, or like I said, there's those ridiculous army barracks style like hostels.
Compounds.
Have you seen any of those ads before?
Yeah, no, I lived in one in college for like a semester. It was just too much for me.
They don't even have privacy. Some of these ones are literally like army barracks. They literally have cots, like in a big open space. But I think just what I'm saying is that really leads back to the desperate nature that LA sometimes gives for artists.
Yeah.
Like it's just do or die here, man.
And you got to grind out. You got to build. Yeah. You got to build your portfolio. You know, you got to say a yes to opportunity. I mean, you got to find.
That's how we met. Yeah.
You got to find opportunity. Opportunity finds you. I mean, you gotta say yes.
You gotta grind it out. I mean, most people here, including myself. I mean, I did odd jobs. You know, I just took work wherever I can get work, and you know, I had a lot of friends down here, so that helps a lot. You know, I crouched on couches and just did whatever I could. You know, and then I reached a second, like how I came to LA is kind of how I went to Cal Arts. Was you know, sort of being, just sort of being like, do I need more education, more of a portfolio? Mm-hmm. And you know, I had two of the artists that I shared a studio with in Little Tokyo were like, we're going to portfolio day at Cal Arts.
Yeah, cool.
And I went up there and I was like, I didn't even think I was prepared. Mm-hmm. And the first the faculty that was reviewing the portfolios looked through my portfolio and says, no, that's saying it. This is from Cal Arts.
Oh, really?
They're like, yeah. She straight told me to my face, point blank, said your art's not good enough.
Oh, wow.
And I got up and I just had like that. I was like ready to storm out of there because it was the first faculty I sat down with, and my friend who's an artist, she was like, Blake, just go talk to another.
Yes,
Go
please.
talk to another school.
You have. Yeah.
He's like, just don't give up so quick. So I went and talked to the Chicago Institute.
Okay.
And he was like, just show me something different. So I was like, oh, I'll show you some animation I did. And he was like, this is rad. And I was like, really? I was like, oh. And complete opposite reaction. And I was like, you really think this animation's dope? And he's like, yeah, you should go talk to the animation department at Cal Arts.
There you go.
And so I went and talked to him. I talked to this guy, Hillary. And me and him just hit it off. And he basically just got me into school.
Okay.
You know, shout out to Hillary. Thanks, dude.
Hillary, you know his last name?
No, I don't know his last name.
All right.
I just know his first name's Hillary.
Dope.
And he basically just kind of felt like we talked for a while, and he was like, I think you'd be great for this program. And I went down to they invite prospect students to go tour the school.
Right.
And then it kind of doubled down, and he was sort of leading that. I got to Cal Arts and. Experimental animation. Man, I don't even know what to say about that.
It sounds amazing, actually.
It's kind of a cool program. So Cal Arts was founded by Disney, Walt Disney, in the 1960s, as a sort of, it was one of his passion projects, kind of like Disneyland.
Right.
And he wanted to create like an in-house, like all production student thing.
Like
so
incubator for.
Yeah, exactly. So like there'd be a music department, acting department, film department, and animation department, which is really how a studio works. Maybe like how he did his Disney studio. And so he was like, oh well, there'd be a lot of this like cross-pollinating of ideas, and some of that's still there. I felt it was pretty segregated when I was there as far as the departments. I don't remember working with anyone from any other department. I mean, except for maybe a musician mixed something for me.
Cool. Yeah.
But yeah, so. They found the experimental animation as there's this guy Jules Ingalls. He was a student there. He graduated and really didn't know how to animate, which is really weird.
Yeah, really weird.
Animation back in the day was done with this very sort of organized system called like an X sheet, and I guess he didn't know how to use that. But then he gave an argument for, well, animation can also be an art form, and this is during the 70s, and so Cal Arts is definitely a very forward-thinking school. It's they really are all avant-garde about everything. So they created a separate program that allowed for all sorts of animation, stop motion, more like hand-drawn when now everyone is doing digital with a character.
Stop motion is like Tim Burton, kind of the claymation.
Tim Burton went to Cal Arts.
There you go.
He's an alumni.
Love it.
Yeah, so he would have been in this sort of same era as Jules Ingalls, and he went to character, and so he was one of those rebellious people that like has this style.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, Disney was pretty traditional. Like,
they were.
Well, like
conservative.
They started their style in the 20s and really kept it all the way to past the Lion King. So that was well into the 90s. The time I'm getting there is definitely the Pixar era.
Yep.
And everyone's doing digital stuff. I don't know what I was doing there. I was like kind of confused on who I was as an artist.
Yeah.
Still am confused. What am I doing here? I somehow make it. I somehow make it out.
Yeah. There's this video that I'll never forget is it a potato on a skateboard? Was that it?
I think so I had a small animation series I started right before Cal Arts.
Okay.
Called Baked Potato.
Yes. I love that. I saw one short of that.
Yeah, and I produced a lot of stuff, and this, I mean, this is why I say I could go on a long tangent. It was like I was trying to like see what I could do with YouTube at the time.
Yeah.
Because that was the sort of social media for video artists.
Absolutely.
But then there was the more serious Vimeo, which is where like you got staff picks, and then you got like the film festival rotation, and then and YouTube, everyone published there.
Yes, everybody.
So I was sort of like, oh, I'm gonna go for this sort of YouTube crowd, and I actually had a lot of traction with Baked Potato on like Facebook, which is weird because Facebook was competing with YouTube for video stuff. The skateboard video I had done right before I went to Cal Arts and before I did Baked Potato, which was like the stop motion, which is how I got in. It was my like one of two stop motion films I did, where I cut out the drawings and then I did the so it's basically 2D drawing in a 3D space. So I had the skateboard stuff go through this. It was pretty. Even to this day, I think it's a pretty cool video.
Yeah.
But this was like all before like social media, and so none of this stuff, like it's like you put stuff sometimes in the YouTube and it feels like you're dropping one drop of ink into an ocean.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think a lot of artists will probably relate without just all social media.
Well, especially today, because I mean, there's so much variation. There's so much different. There's like I would say there's a lot of noise, and you got to go through filters to find stuff. Because I mean, you now we have to comb through and find things that kind of resonate with me.
Yeah, and there's also sort of like
based on the algorithm, right? So it's just it's tough.
And when I went to Cal Arts, I was blown away at just how much video stuff there is. We went to the Getty as a class, and we got a tour, and they were taking us to the big part of the Getty is archival, so they have a whole basement where they do just archival work, and they were working on one project was just preserving Disney cells, because all that acetate is all going to dissolve.
Yes.
So this is sort of I don't know why they're even doing it, but it's like but they're preserving hundreds of thousands of these things. Another part they brought us to was interesting, is they had adapted the entire Long Beach video library, and then they had like, I don't know how many different players, just 24 hours digitizing things, nonstop, and it was just going to go on for years.
Jeez.
Just nonstop digitizing,
scanning, all that.
Yeah, because it's all film, tape, video. It's all pre-internet, so there's no digital archive of any of this stuff. Dope. And I was just shocked just about how much film there is, like in just in this city.
Yeah.
It would just blew my mind.
It's like it might be more artwork than the Vatican has, you know?
Oh, I think there's probably more digital. There's probably more video. They said that they lost. It was videos that all dissolved from the silent era film, and they lost as much video work there. There was like old books. So there's more old books preserved than there is what they lost. I'm not saying that right.
Because the film just disintegrates.
Yeah, because it was all made with what was that flammable material, nitrate.
Yeah.
It's just not archivable.
Right.
So we've lost basically, almost like, decades worth of film. So it's a lot to think about, and to think about the vastness of what the digital camera that we all have now. We all have a video camera.
Yes.
We all have a way to edit.
Yep. All in your pocket.
Yeah, I mean everyone has a sort of like digital photo album of themselves at some point. I don't know anyone who doesn't take pictures at this. But this is all new. I mean, like in 2014, like Instagram wasn't a thing for artists.
Nope.
Now it's. Obviously it's huge.
It's
I don't know how long it'll be huge for. Maybe.
Well, for me, I think Instagram is it's eye candy. So for me, visually, as a visual artist or a videographer, I think it's part of your platform, part of who you are. It's how you get notoriety. It's how do you get seen. So.
You know what I was thinking about social media the other day, and I was thinking it was one of the things it did is it killed boredom or downtime. Like downtime just used to be part of our lives.
Yeah.
And now we have it all filled up because there's an infinite roll of film now. You have an infinite scroll of 15 seconds, and you can go down that rabbit hole for forever.
Yes.
You can't in a lifetime, I think, watch everything.
No.
I don't think you can scroll to the bottom. There's no bottom of the scroll. I don't think so.
No.
I think it's infinite. It's wild.
Yeah, the worst thing is getting stuck in that rabbit hole on the toilet, and then you stand up and you fall down because your legs went numb. And then you push back on the video you watched like 45 minutes ago. You're like, oh, that's what I watched,
Well, it's sad. I mean, like, I think it's literally making people dumber, and I'm not saying that as a sort of figure of speech. I'm saying literally. It's literally making a generation with a shorter attention span. They're making. There's so much video out there. It's like, why would you go and make something like I did, like a stop motion animation? It's so time consuming. So that skateboard animation you referenced was 1 minute long. It took me like 3 weeks to do.
3 weeks for 1 minute.
Yeah, for 1 minute. It was 720 drawings. That was just the drawings, and then I had to cut them out, and then I had to do the animation.
Yeah.
It was a huge fucking project, and I realized that today it's like no young artist would ever be like. Well, it's not that they wouldn't be motivated, but what would motivate them when you got another person who is just doing the latest dance or doing something silly, just being a clown. Well, and it's just like, why would you put effort into your art?
Well, I think this is a good segue into technology and tools.
Yeah, sure.
Because now you can literally sketch your idea that you have, and then you can put it into one of the platforms and prompt exactly what you want, and kind of build like a 15-second or 5-second to 15-second reel of what it is, and then you cut them. You know?
Yeah.
Have you experimented in that kind of sense?
Well, like with AI and animation?
Yeah, with like video.
I haven't done any
video
producing with AI.
Okay.
No, I've only done like single image generation.
Yeah.
And I know exactly what AI needs to do to really be like the animator's friend. Like you have to be able to composite. Like there's just like if your background and your characters are baked in, like they're basically one layer, and you can't manipulate that. You can't take separate elements. I mean, the slot machine analogy, where it's like you type something, a prompt. Let's see, I don't care how specific your prompt is and how good you are at writing. You're pulling the thing, and it's deciding if it's an interpretation.
Yes.
Large language model basically means that it's not thinking. I know people think AI is thinking. No. It's a calculating.
Yes.
It's going, these are the words, these are the pixels. Do they associate best with the words? And people are refining this language model over and over again. Yeah. But it's not really a tool I could see as a finished tool. Like you have to do something with it. And if people are going to go in and go, I type a prompt in, and that's going to produce the end content. And that's why AI looks so, like the ideas are just half-baked, in my opinion.
I think there's a lot of creators that do these videos that are unbelievable, and I'm just like, how do they do it? You know, and it's literally fine-tuning and working and reworking, bringing that into other software and pulling it back and refining. I think there's a lot of steps that people don't really understand about that process in itself. But,
well,
yeah,
I mean, digital, when you make stuff digitally, I mean, there's a lot of shortcuts you can do, and you know, being an animator, you want to take every shortcut you can, because it's so laborious.
3 weeks to 1 minute. I mean, that's
well, I kind of intentionally did something for aesthetics. I did a highly laborious process.
Yeah.
Now, what I was saying about with like AI, it's like it'd be hard to motivate someone to do a highly laborious process, and eventually, once you're able to sort of have these sort of drop, like if you could drop a character into a program and it was composited and you can just tell it to animate, is that cheating, or is it now we're doing a more efficient system? You know, I mean, I don't know. I don't make much animation anymore, and the last animation project I was working on was at the beginning of the pandemic, and I was doing it sort of the old school way. I drew everything. But I was doing cutout animation, which is basically you do character rigging, which is different than doing frame by frame drawing.
Gotcha.
So I did some of that. You could, like something like Rick and Morty, which would probably be an example of the most contemporary and recognizable.
Yeah, for cartoon. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's two-dimensional cutout.
Yep.
So it's basically they make character rigs and then they draw over that.
Cool.
So they're like puppets. It's not like old school Disney was cell animation, frame to frame.
All right, so no, let's talk about you building your portfolio building after your MFA.
So after MFA, I came back here. And when I was doing that, I was rolling around town as an art handler.
Yep.
Which I learned as much being an art handler as I did about fine art over the 3 years I was at Cal Arts. Because it's like visual fine art, there's a lot of gatekeeping. I mean, the galleries and the collectors and all these people, they don't just like open their books and let you know who's selling what for what. You might get some of those auction prices and secondary market stuff. Could be public information. But being an art handler, I was able to put up shows and take down shows. I saw what sold. I went over to collectors' houses. I saw what they bought, and I started getting kind of hip to, like there wasn't one way any particular artists were doing, but I went to a lot of like really big artist studios around here, got to see their practice, got to see the sort of mechanics behind selling, shipping, installing, deinstalling, collecting art, and that's when you get to realize it's very small percentage of people that actually buy art. There is way more artists making art than there is collectors, so it's like you can't just expect to, oh, well, if I'm making art, I can, there's a big enough world I can find a collector.
Right.
I mean, people buying original pieces is tough. But then right after that, like, I worked for a mural company for Haddis, and I was basically like working 2 jobs. I'd get up at 6 in the morning and go do a mural, get off at 2, and then come down here to my studio and then paint. You just have to paint. I painted a lot for like 5 straight years. I was painting nonstop. I mean, I worked for Janine for 2, then I worked for Marco Schmidley. He's a backdrop guy over in Culver City. I did 40 backdrops for him.
Dope.
Part of his scenic collection. And then after that, and then the whole other time I'm working on my own series and stuff, but I wasn't really gaining much traction on Instagram, and so I really wasn't selling very much original stuff through people I didn't know.
Okay.
A couple people contacted me that I knew.
How did that shift?
Well, it shifted several years back. A video I made went viral. That just sort of started cascading.
Which video was this? I don't.
This is like a Sending Cow like 30 or something I had done, and I did like a zoom out of me painting it, slapped like a Pink Floyd thing on it.
Cool.
And it was a video, like I'd probably done several. This is probably like the 6th time I had done this. This is weird about Instagram. It's like you do the same video over and over again, and then this one just kind of went like hyper viral.
Yeah.
And after that, I got contacted by more people. And you just kind of grow your network from there.
Yeah.
And then really where I started making money is I started selling prints. That's how you capitalize as an artist through social media.
Yeah.
I don't know if serious collectors, I mean, like there's people, I've sold originals through Instagram DMs.
Okay.
But serious collectors, because what I'm talking about is, I've been to collectors here in LA who have, they spend $1 million a year on art.
Jesus.
And I've been to people's collections that are easily, over $100 million.
Wow.
So this is what I'm talking about. Like, there's people here in LA who have money, like real money. So I mean, I'm not trying to shame or create sort of like a divide, but that's just the reality of it. Yeah. Not every artist can charge $100,000 for a painting, and I don't think the kind of people that pay $100,000 are scouting through Instagram.
No.
So you see this sort of disconnect.
Right.
Where a lot of artists, I think, especially young, and younger millennials and Gen Z, they're gonna have to sort of go, how much time do I put into my Instagram feed? You might be able to skip that entire line and just get institutional. I've heard the term art darling. It's like someone who like graduates like right out and then they go right up to like a to like get prestige in your 20s or 30s is that sort of. I mean, that's sort of like they're getting knighted in a way. Yeah. And it might just because a gallery or a collector or a critic just decided that's it. That's them. I'm not thinking of anyone in particular. There's a dozen a year that seem to, have to not do what most artists do, which is like, a long career, a lot of experimentation, a lot of failing. They go straight from grad school to a major gallery to high-end auction prices. That's not the norm, as far as I know. Unless
this term is called art darling.
I feel it's kind of condescending, but because I don't want to discredit anyone who has a fast track to. But it's sort of like it's a bit like using the word nepotism. It's sort of like, but it's not a direct because I don't think it's not like their family owns. Christie's or Sotheby's. It's not like, Johnny Sotheby. Whatever.
Maybe that particular artist was doing something subtly different than others, and then the right person saw it, and that's all it takes.
Yeah, I mean, they were in the right program at the right university. They graduated at the right year, in the right market with the right trends. A lot of things have to line up, and so that's what I'm saying. Like, it wouldn't be like, oh, their career isn't worthy.
I got you.
I would never think that, but I would say that if an artist, was listening to this now and we're talking about like, living and being a producing artist, is I really didn't make full-time money as an artist until I was in my 40s. I'm 45 now.
Yeah.
You know, it's fucking hard.
It's a fucking grind.
It's a grind.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. I've had every day job you could think of, man.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about this. Has there been mornings where you wake up and you're just like, God damn it? I mean, back in the day where you're like, just like, fucking done, or.
Dude, there was times I was sitting in LA traffic.
Yeah.
Like I had this like every once in a while I had a wicked commute because I was just going around LA.
Yeah.
But sometimes I had like
time.
I remember I got in a traffic jam at 5 in the morning.
Oh Jesus.
It was because of an accident.
Yeah.
Because that's why we started at 6 a.m. is to skip the traffic.
Yeah.
And to get stuck at traffic at 5 in the morning, I just felt like, God, this world hates me. Is it worth it? And like, am I gonna really grind for 8 hours and then drive back to my studio and then grind for another? That's what it took. It took like paint all day, paint all night, for years. Like and yeah, it did suck. I felt, I don't know if I would use the word unfair. I mean, it felt hard as hell, but
It's hard, yeah.
But yeah,
It's the grind. It's the hard.
But yeah, when I see someone who's 25, straight out of an MFA program, get some huge opportunity that really, like, as someone who's maybe older, you might feel a type of way about it. But I'm not thinking of anyone in particular.
No.
Yeah,
That's fair.
It's the way that it works. The world's unfair.
Let's discuss the dark, the ideal of a typical idea of an artist, of the dark, depressed, debauchery, alcoholic kind of.
Well, it's just. I mean.
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of tied in what I was saying earlier. Is that it's depressing that if you were just to know the numbers, like that there's maybe less than 3% of artists that will actually be able to make a living, and that most people are going to have a day job, and there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, it can get depressing, and most artists come from the big cities, LA, New York, Chicago, Miami, wherever, and these places are hard to make it. Mm-hmm. I mean, how many years can you live with 25 roommates? In some way I'm joking, in some way I'm being serious, and then also it's sort of like, yeah, I did see, since I've been in LA for about 16 years, I have seen some people fall into like the party, like let's chill my feelings of alcohol and drugs. That's just easy. I think it's self-explanatory why someone would do that.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Why is art depressing to make? Someone said a while ago that artists tend to be more sensitive, and that might be true. I don't know.
I'm sensitive. I'm
sensitive too.
I think we have these antennas of sensitivity. This is what makes us great, is we see things differently. We interpretate things differently, right? Which gives us a
lot of feelings.
I think which actually transcends and makes your art and gives the viewer goosebumps, right?
Yeah, you should be like,
right? That's the connection.
Yeah,
that's the soul you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
right?
I think that's the sort of it factor, and I think people more acknowledge that idea in music. They're like, oh yeah, like he's a great guitarist, and then oh yeah, he's a great guitarist. He has a lot of soul. Or oh yeah, or a singer would be more like the thing because they're more in the front. Yeah. And I think that like that exists for visual artists as well. I don't know because it's not as democratic as like music or film. Like people go and fill up theaters and buy tickets. Yeah. People buy music, I guess, or stream. There's a way to count it.
Yes. Yeah.
How do you count visual artist success? I guess sales, maybe. That would be a good. I would love to hear what some other artists would be. How they would create a success ladder. Is it prestige? Is it degrees? Is it sales? Is it the artist with the most sales? Is that the best artist of our time? I don't know.
What's success to you?
That's a good question. I mean, I think at times I've always felt that like the first real, level was to be able to do art as my primary job, my only job. And I was like, oh, if you can get to that stage, you've done something.
Yeah, gotcha.
Like that you can't fake that.
So full-time
artist, professional artist,
yeah.
Like that you put food on your table and pay for your rent with your art, and so that's like it doesn't. There's not like there's black and white. That or you made it. There's a spectrum, and like a lot of people, I did a lot of commercial art and I did a lot of odd jobs while I was building my portfolio.
Right.
So it was never like 1-2. It was sort of like a gradually, and then finally, I was able to stop applying to. I mean, this as a muralist, like applying to fucking murals, man, is like so. You apply to like 100, and my least favorite thing is getting to the third or fourth round, then getting dumped.
Yeah.
It's like you wasted so much of my time, man. And a lot of people, they don't pay you for that.
So we're talking about RFQ, requests for proposals, requests for qualifications.
The cities, man.
And I'm on Instagram now and I get fed a lot of RFQs, RFPs, which are not ethical to me. I'm not doing free work for design work. There's no steps in that. But professionally,
all calls to artists should have some design fee.
Yes.
I will say that too.
Honorarium?
Yes. Yeah, well, just anything. Like if you're at least to the second and third round artists.
Yes.
Like I mean, I understand you can't do it for maybe the first round, but if you aren't doing it for the second and third round artists, I mean, that's just like that should be a part of your budget. Like that is not something.
Yes, I agree.
You can't copy and paste a design.
No.
It has to be unique to the space. Yeah. You can't just be like, well, I'll just take the design I did for the last mural and put it on this parking lot, put it on this building.
I think
kind of, but not really.
I mean, as designing, there's a lot of concept, there's a lot of studying, there's a lot of reading, there's a lot of going down the rabbit hole of what makes that specific place where you're putting that mural and the community. I think there's just a lot, right?
So the last mural I did, and we were talking about is, I did it for the city of Revere, which is it's part of Boston.
Yeah.
Maybe and so they were basically covering a bunch of graffiti, and it was a wild project because I knew that it was like
huge.
It was not gonna my stuff wasn't gonna stay. I mean, I ended up putting like this industrial coating. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's a graffiti repellent, anti-graffiti, and I mean, like within days, someone sent me a picture and it was all tagged up.
Yeah.
Like I finished the mural. They didn't tag it while I was there, which was I thought was
respect.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was under an underpass, right. And the point that I guess I'm making is that the city, and LA will never. I don't know what they'll ever do about like free walls to who gets to decide what art goes where. Cities do art by committee. Street artists do art wherever they feel like.
So the good thing is I've worked with Caltrans. So if it's owned by Caltrans, you have to get the city's approval, and then you go to Caltrans, and then you said, hey, I got city's approval. Then that's when that ball starts, which took us 2.5 years to get from the opportunity to then. And guess what they said? I asked Caltrans, I was like, this is long. They're like, no, this is actually fast. And I said, what's long? They said, like 5 years is average. And I'm like,
I'm gonna love to see how LA handles the Olympics in 2 years.
I'm like,
I want to see the city crumble. Have they started anything? Have they started any city planning? Have you seen any projects?
Well, hopefully they get Metro rolling through the lines up. So.
I feel like it is.
Struggling with Casey Wasserman.
And then you have and then LAX I think hopefully is finished by then too.
Yeah, I mean I feel like that's not much what we're doing, but it's. The city, no, the cities are, it's slow moving.
Yep.
It does take years. And so you're kind of like, there's a relief from that, but then, making your own, and like being an entrepreneur, I guess is the next thing.
Yeah.
I guess either being an entrepreneur as an artist or you team up with a gallery. I don't know, I don't know if there's a third option.
Tell us what galleries you in now, what are you working on, what's your current works?
Yeah, so last year I did 2 shows, or within the last 2 years I've done two shows.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
At a gallery in New York called Tambourine 2. It's a sort of contemporary extension of another gallery that's been around since the 70s, and so It was a really cool location on the Upper East Side, and so I've done some shows there, and I recently did a group show in Berlin. Some guy, and this is cool about social media is, you know, this guy, he obviously, he saw my work on Instagram. I knew him from YouTube, so he was a YouTube artist. Not he's a YouTube artist, but he does videos, and he has a huge following on YouTube, and he's out in Berlin, and so I did a group show out with him in Berlin, and I'm working with a print company that's out of London, and they operate out of New York here, and Berlin as well. And so, yeah, that's been the last couple of years.
You're is only as good as your portfolio, but you're also only as good as your network. So, I mean, you got to surround yourself with people who believe in you, people who uplift you, and who adore you and love you. And I mean, that's for me is this synergy and building relationship with artists and people who buy art and who see your vision. I think that in itself is part of this game.
Yeah, and being discouraged and failing is part of it too. There is no I kind of almost regret giving an example of someone who is 25 and graduates with an MFA and immediately gets a prestigious gallery or a fellowship or something, because I think that's so rare that you can almost put them on not part of the conversation and go, okay, what's a reasonable way to make it as an artist? And you can work with the city. The city has money. There's private companies that that want public art. There's a lot of stuff that comes with it. Obviously, the business side. There's the social media and being an entrepreneur, which is what I've kind of done. And there's traditional methods. I wonder if it is you ask 100 artists, you get 100 different success stories of how they got there.
Absolutely.
I think it's probably the.
I think the art.
There's no rules.
Well, I think the art journey is different for every artist, but I think what we can all say is I think the portfolio is imperative, and your marketing yourself is imperative, and then reaching out and having that network and reaching out to other artists that you like and respect. I think
Yeah, I would add to that is be very open to adapting.
Yes.
Everything's changing. Don't be fixed in any way. And because I think that we briefly touched about technology, and technology is always shifting. There's always going to be people who push back against it. The scary word obviously of the day is AI. That's everyone was scared of that word, but I know what it is, and it's not that scary at all. It's just another tool. At least for artists, and all artists are out of a job. I don't think that's true at all.
And that's a great segue into this. Is I think utilizing and knowing these tools only make us better. And literally, nobody knows what the fuck, how to use it. And so, let's use it correctly or experiment. I think it's an experimental.
I think if you're a traditional artist, and let's say you're a traditional painter, two-dimensional painter. I would absolutely say learn Photoshop. And some people are like, oh, I'll never use Photoshop. It's like, why not? Learn that program. Might as well learn Premiere, and might as well learn a 3D program like Cinema 4D or whatever the newest one is, and you might as well learn AI, and you might as well at least know what it's doing. Be informed. And whether it becomes a part of your practice, whether you use that tool or not, I don't know. It depends. It really depends on what the project is and what the expectations from people are. It's adapt or die, man.
I like it for rendering. For example, a flying horned owl sculpture flying through the air, right? For me to render that on Photoshop would take me hours. So literally plug that image into Midjourney and then plugged it out, and I got exactly what I wanted, and it was about 95% of what I envisioned. So that saved me hours of work, and as you know, we have to produce works to sell or and put out there. I mean, it's so time is money, and I'm running out of both in that sense, where it's a tool that it makes you better. And I truly believe this, Blake, that it's only limited by our imagination. And for me, I think that if you think outside the box and imagine what the possibilities are, you can create it on these platforms. So it's these tools are amazing.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying them.
And when we talked about that skateboard video and how I spent this entire month span, there's a lot of hours I put in, and then I dumped it on YouTube and got 100 views or something. It was ridiculous. I mean, karma at the end. I've had plenty of viral success through other things, but that was a really sort of thing. And my concern is that people with these shortcuts who have no appreciation, I believe you'll always win if you do really make. If your goal, if you set your bar high, it doesn't matter what tool you do to get there.
Yes.
I think people will recognize real, and even in today's absolutely oversaturated, content-driven world, I really do feel that if you really did want to spend a bunch of time on some, fine art or art tour video, that it'd be worth it.
Yeah.
And that you actually will probably find more success doing something that's really good and doing very few of it.
Yes.
Quality over quantity.
Okay.
All the time, all day.
Yeah, there's new technologies out, these robotic arms, and a good example is they are helping sculpturists carve sculptures out of marble that are like 50% done, and then they have to go in and do the rest. But
no, yeah,
I mean,
it roughs it out. Yeah.
We have to ask what would these masters, Renaissance, what would Michelangelo do? I assume, for me, I think technologists, I think they embrace technology. What would you kind of, if you were in that realm?
Well, the ethics of it.
Yeah.
We could talk about sort of a lot of artists. You can see like contemporary big artists like Jeff Koons use staff.
Yes.
And so you're like, okay, I think at some point maybe he has a staff of upward of 100 people, and so they're creating and out-producing, but he owns the IP. He owns the IP to all his creations. They're Jeff Koons, and he pays his staff as work for hire. Mm-hmm. Now that's the studio model. That's almost the recording industry model.
Yes.
And so what I think that technology is going to do is and this I think will be mirrored in the movie industry, is the staff is going to shrink.
Yes.
Is a person like Jeff Koons is going to need to hire 2 people and a robot, but it's not going to change the fact that it's you're going to need a sort of human name behind things. But it's the way art and major sculptures, you got a guy like a Damien Hirst, and they work with I think people will be surprised at how many painters work with staff. That it's usually 5 or 6 people make a painting. Oh, especially realism. Oh. There's a lot I mean, I personally, I'll just say now that I'm a one staff painter, just me.
Can I ask you this? Have you ghost painted for another artist?
Well, technically I have.
Yeah.
I mean, I've definitely worked on teams. So the licensing thing I did with Marco Schmidley, where he paid me to basically paint a collection of scenics.
Okay.
I get paid my rate. I don't own any of the licensing. So when I could show you some major campaigns my thing has been used in. I don't know how much they get paid, but I don't get paid as there's no license. Those are tricky legal.
Those are works for hire.
Yeah, works for hire, exactly.
Yes.
And so the works for hire is basically what we're talking about is those are going to be farmed out to robots. Yeah, I mean it's these weird positions, but those machines are going to be so expensive. Who's going to have access to it except for artists like Jeff Koons?
Interesting.
But it was if someone like Marco wanted to do another collection and he just wanted to get one of those mural painting robots. He has a studio to do it, and he could just basically put all his ideas and then why hire an artist like me?
Well, it's basically a wall printer.
Yeah, a wall
it's,
printer.
It's just a printer that prints
Kind of
on the wall.
What I saw is it has like 4 points, and it moves like a Roomba. And it prints.
That's another one.
Yeah, and it prints like so. You basically just connect the wires to the 4 points on your wall. I mean, the wall has to be flat.
Yes, but
you can do it in sections. Yeah. And I guess technically, you really just it's printing on the wall.
It's printing on the wall.
I don't know if. Again, it's like so I've done so many jobs where I just know that just wouldn't even work.
Yes, I got you.
So
for sure.
I don't know. And once again, we're with the AI of like, is it coming for all our jobs? Nah, not really. I mean, I'm not worried about it that much.
The older Blake Whitaker looking at the younger Blake Whitaker.
Man.
And going, here, let me give you some advice that would give you, or fast track you, or kind of help you, uplift you.
Man, and maybe like life advice, and it's impossible to sort of, you can't fast track that wisdom. I can't have you. If I was talking to my younger self, I could basically like go make some sacrifices today, so you, when you get older, have some of that fruit, like plant some of those trees and seeds earlier. But at the same time, I mean, like, not to get all philosophical about it, but life's a series of trade-offs, and if you want to trade your youth for your art practice, it will get farther sooner. But that's your youth, and like maybe I don't know. I mean, I went to school and I was the oldest in my class, and I felt that was kind of a weird experience. Mm-hmm. It's better to do things kind of in stride with other people, but it's not the end of the world. You can absolutely, if you're older. So I mean, encouragement maybe. I really did feel like it was a desert of artistic encouragement when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was really saw as an unimportant thing. I don't remember anyone. So if I were to give advice to my younger self, is it's helpful to find other people that are doing what you want to do and talk to them, man.
There you go.
Reach out.
Love it.
Just about anybody, and I've never had anyone that I've reached out to and asked for advice been like, nah, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, some people are too busy. I mean, like, no one can break your career for you. But I reached out to a guy when I got to LA. He painted backdrops, and it was sort of the sunset of his career.
You got his name?
It's Michael something. I could look him up. I mean, he did 300 backdrops.
Wow.
For movies like Die Hard and I mean, like he was doing so like back in the day there was backdrops and there was also matte painting.
Yeah.
Like painting was a part of it. And at this point when I emailed him out, he was basically down to doing sort of like set painting. Like I was working on some Western and doing sign painting and stuff. And,
Gotcha.
And he was like, all the work in that realm is union.
Oh yes.
I don't know if you've ever even tried to do anything.
No, I heard it's cost you $5,000 to join.
That's why I had the conversation with him. He's like, I sent him my portfolio. He's like, yeah, you can work in this industry, but you're going to have to do all union.
Yes.
And I was like, oh man, this is right during the pandemic. I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's like 20,000 hours.
Well, and
so what was his advice when he reached back out to you?
Was to join the union.
Oh yeah.
He was like,
at that time.
Yeah, for him it was like that's the only way you get work because
True.
like he was like all my work's to the union, and he gave me a couple of unions.
Yeah.
And so I went to those unions and I looked at their dues, and I was like,
yes.
I don't know. It was just one of those times where I
Well, you have to buy in too.
But it was straightforward advice. Like he didn't give abstract advice.
No.
He was like, hey, this is what I did. Here, check out these unions.
Gotcha.
And and so, but no, I mean, he can't get me a job, and that's not the way Hollywood works, I guess. He can't just be like, yeah, you have to be hired, you have to be on the union list. I mean, I can roughly explain unions, but once again, I don't.
What other artists that did you reach out to that helped you, that give you great advice?
I don't think I reached out to anyone else besides that guy.
Okay. Or has anybody reached out to you for advice?
Yeah, a couple of people. They've asked for specific, like drawing advice or like how do you sell your paintings, which is too abstract. I
gotcha.
Look, we had an hour and a half conversation, and I could go on for another hour and a half of.
I got you.
Remember we said 100 different artists, 100 different stories.
Yeah, totally.
A lot of people are like, where do I start? I mean, you start with learning how to to draw. I don't know. I mean, what do you want to do?
Gotcha. So have some goals in mind, and
The more specific your question can be, and the more specific, like when I contacted that guy, I'd already painted a bunch of backdrops and had a huge mural portfolio. I'd painted like 50 murals and 40 backdrops and graduated. And so I asked him specifically about his industry and how to get into it.
Gotcha.
That's a lot different than coming and going, where do I begin? I like drawing. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man.
Yeah.
But if you're along in your journey and you have a portfolio and stuff, find artists that paint like you. Don't ask a sculptor how to paint. Where they sell paintings at. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So favorite color?
Phthalo green.
Okay. Why?
Because I grew up in the Emerald City, baby.
There we go. Your favorite artist?
Thomas Moran.
Love it. All right. Favorite art style?
I would say classic. Hudson River School.
All right. And then we're gonna do favorite music.
I probably listen to electronic music the most when I paint.
Okay. Nice. And then your favorite musician?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't know if I have a favorite musician.
That's fine. Favorite, so electronic music. Favorite, the song that you keep coming back to.
Oh, I couldn't even tell you, man.
So vast.
I'll say that I use Pink Floyd the most with this series. I think it connects the most with this series. So that will be your answer to the question.
Love it. What's that? Oh yeah, and why? Why Pink Floyd? Why the connection?
I don't know if there's a direct connection, but it was one of the artists that just seemed to be surreal, and it seems like it connects well. Like they used a cow in the cover of one of their albums. I forget which album, and I think that's why a lot of people have that association. Oh. And then they had a pig floating in a different album. I don't know why. It just kind of makes maybe it makes sense.
Love it. Your favorite place to eat in Los Angeles?
I like tacos. So anywhere to talk. I don't think you can find a bad taco in LA. Maybe you could, but it's pretty easy to find a good one.
Okay. So
I like tacos.
LA tacos. And then your sign.
I'm Sagittarius.
Okay.
I know.
And then last but not least, your favorite art tool that you love to use?
Paintbrush.
Paintbrush. What paintbrush? We're using a wedge. What are you using?
No, we're using a liner brush.
A liner brush.
That's my favorite brush.
00?
I think so. It's the one that's about this yay long liner brush. Long and thin.
Long and thin.
Long and thin is my favorite brush. Yeah.
Okay. It's Mondays with Michael. Appreciate you guys. The great Blake Whitaker.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man, for your time. It's good to reconnect with you. Yeah.
All right, baby.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks.
We'll see you guys on the next one. All right.
Cheers.